So Mark, I'm really sorry that you can't be with us in person, but thank you so much for giving us a little bit of your time to share with us some of your thoughts about the play.
No problem, and I'm really sorry that I can't be there. I'm not used to being an unhealthy person. So yeah, it's annoying. Very annoying.
I wanted to start by looking back, because I remember so well the day 6 years ago this week when you brought your amazing, wonderful young people from Oasis Youth Theatre and their family up to Croydon in a great big coach to perform the very first performance, official performance of our play at the Brit School. And now we've just passed the 500th performance. What does that mean to you?
It's unbelievable. I mean, I'd had my first success back in 1987 with Too Much Punch for Judy. And I wasn't ever imagining that something would go on to challenge that as being, you know, one of my most successful plays. And this definitely has. Too Much Punch for Judy has never been a set text. This is. And it's really lovely that I can remember it all so clearly, because it's so much closer than all of that. So something so awful has turned into something so wonderful for us, and I hope that in a small way for you as well.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. It's been an incredible journey, and it's very much at its beginning. What do you think? What difference do you think touring the play has made, as well as obviously it's a published play, but you adapted it into a touring production? We've been touring that since 2017 now. What difference do you think that's made to the play itself?
It's given it credibility, a lot of credibility. The fact that professional actors work on it so well every day. We've been very lucky, because I had contact with Stopwatch initially, who set it off on a very good way. So we had a very strong production. And then with both Wizard and Tie It Up, we've managed to have groups who have taken it on and taken it further and developed it. So for Adrian, Leon and David in those three groups, unbelievable thanks, because I've had pretty much nothing to do with the professional tours, like I didn't for Too Much Punch for Judy or Hard to Swallow. It's been fantastic to see them take it on and develop it further.
And I do remember, I mean, all this kind of looking back and remembering, I remember when we first had those very initial conversations about maybe there could be a play, and it was literally just in the months after Dan died. I do remember you saying there are absolutely no guarantees, no promises. This may never get anywhere. May not. I can't promise it's going to be published. It may just kind of disappear into nothing. And now it's going to become a GCSE drama set text in September.
Yeah, although that's interesting that you remember that, because I remember sitting with our cast in Oasis, and I think it was at that time that Missing Dan Nolan and Hard to Swallow had become set texts. And once that happened, I said to them, do you know, I think this could happen to this play. It's definitely good enough. And it has. It happened way sooner than ever I could have imagined. And I think it becoming a set text is an unbelievable kudos to it. And the other thing that's happening that I think is also incredibly good for the play, and it's breaking another barrier that my plays have never broken, is going into professional theatres and performing it in professional theatre spaces, which Tie It Up are beginning to do up in York, and they're planning a theatre tour. And I have to say, theatres are a little bit snobby about my work, and this could be the play that breaks that down. And that's really exciting for me, because there's a whole catalogue of stuff that might start to get out there now.
So, I mean, obviously, it's a good play. It's obviously well written. I mean, thank you so much for writing such a good play.
Well, thank you for the words, because the other thing is the people that I spoke to, yourself included, and Tim and the young people, I said to someone the other day, of all the plays that I've done, it's the play where the people spoke most eloquently to a man. I mean, everybody had the most beautiful way of expressing things. Tim, probably the most poetic of anyone I've ever spoken to. But yeah, it's really lovely, the words that I was given to play with.
So we've got some plans, you and I, haven't
Yep.
we? Would you like to say a little bit about our thoughts for the?
Yeah, well, with Hard to Swallow and Dan Nolan, I wanted to resource the plays really well, and someone brought out a book about Hard to Swallow, and they hadn't talked to me, and I thought, this is absolute madness. So what I've done is spoken to the young people from Oasis Youth Theatre and got some of their memories, and I'm just going to start off by or finish up rather, by reading a couple of those memories from the young people. And they're really beautiful thoughts that they've put into writing, which will go in the book. So this is like a sneak preview from the book. This first one is from Ollie, who was only 11 when he got involved. He was the youngest person in the play. And he ended up playing Dan in one of the scenes, which he will talk about here. So this is him now as a 18 or 19-year-old looking back on it.
He's the cover boy, sorry, isn't he?
He's the boy on the cover, yeah, absolutely. Ollie Webb. Okay, this is what he said. The first read-through of the script was very hard. Knowing the words on the page were from real people was hard to come to terms with. I had also never been in a room where everyone became so emotional. As a group, we had no understanding or connection yet with the family, so these words on the paper should just have been words, but they weren't. The whole room was so touched by the words of all the people in Dan's life. The first time we showed Tim and Fiona the rave scene where I get thrown forward and drop to the floor, and I have to crawl slowly towards a block at the front of stage right, I remember looking up and making eye contact with Fiona, and she just began to sob. In the whole process of I Love You, Mum, I found that the most difficult moment. Playing Dan at his most vulnerable point, a point Tim and Fiona would never have seen in reality, and being the person to portray him at this point was such a big weight on my shoulders. Deep grief and bereavement were feelings I had fortunately not had to deal with at that young age, but I was having to perform this very poignant piece to them. I just think that's such a powerful thing for him to remember and have experienced. And then Chelsea, who played another role in many roles in the play, and always had a great and deep love for the play. She just talks about the end of the play. This is the extract from her I've chosen. The final scene of the second act of I Promise I Won't Die felt as if it stopped being a play for those last few minutes. We lined up as a cast and presented flowers for Dan on the stage. At this point, I never considered myself to be in role. It felt like it was us showing love and respect for Dan and his family, even though we had never met. We had had a chance to show how loved Dan was by the people that knew him, but now to also show that we as a cast had a love for him too.
I'm going to finish it there. Thank you, Mark.